Hey, nerdy sports fan here. We're continuing our series breaking down the NFL schedule, getting record predictions for every single team. If you haven't seen one of the early ones, this is how it works. We put some games into the guaranteed win category based off of where you're at in your schedule, they're at in theirs, and general competition level. We're definitely going to put some games in the guaranteed loss category for the same reasons. The remainder are going to be a toss-up category game because, well, not arrogant enough to think that I can call every single game from this. Parity exists in this league and the wonderment that is the any given Sunday rule. Now let's dig into these Indianapolis Colts. You're starting out week 1 at the Jaguars. I'm putting this into a toss-up category. I get everybody thinks that the Jaguars are going to be hot garbage. I am no different. I think they're going to be terrible. But I don't think the Colts are so strong that they can just go in and throttle them. I don't. Okay? Mostly because I have serious doubts that Philip Rivers' arm has anything left. Anything. Okay? You are relying on his brain only. Is he going to be able to get you into the right play? A little bit better than last year's QBs. Yeah, sure. I'm positive of that. He's a veteran QB that's done that for a very long time out in the AFC West. Knows this offense extremely well because of his prior time with Frank Reich. Sure. He throws up lame ducks all over the field. Okay? And the Chargers receivers, big-bodied, high-point receivers, guys that could turn a bad throw into a good throw based off of just being able to box out the defender and go up for the ball. You don't have that, really, in Indy. Hilton's not a high-point guy, okay? He's an overall great talent. And he's towards the end of his career. I don't see him as a consistent box-out, beat-double-team kind of guy anymore. I don't. Funches. He's a big-body guy, sure. How well did that work out last year? Not great? Yeah. Because he's not a premier talent. He's like a middle-of-the-road guy. So, it'd be generous of me to say that Philip Rivers is going to a similar class wide receiver. He certainly is not. All right? He's getting a lesser wide receiver core, but a far better offensive line, and you're hoping that a lot of his bad throws last year were because of poor protection. A lot were, sure. But at least half of them were because of his dead arm. I watched a lot of film last year. And you can't explain away all of those bad throws. You just can't. And he's going to continue making them. So, in a road game situation, do I like his leadership? Absolutely. Do I like his play? Absolutely not. So, whereas I think the Jaguars are bad, I don't think you're a strong enough team to absolutely guarantee a win against them on the road. I don't. All right, so Vikings. You're getting them at home. Doesn't matter. You're going to lose. For the same reasons I just talked about, me not necessarily liking where Philip Rivers is at, the Vikings don't have that issue. Kirk Cousins is in the prime of his career. He does not have a dead arm. And he's now being transitioned to an offense that doesn't necessarily rely on his arm anyway. They're a run-first team too, much like you guys. So you have a similarly built team that you're going up against, but they're just in their prime win-now mode, whereas you are in the I'm going to sign a veteran quarterback that the team didn't want to sign back as a desperation move mode. Yeah, man, Andrew Luck's retirement really put you in a pickle. I'm sorry. Anyways, week 3, Jets, toss-up game. Yeah, you're getting them at home? Yeah, you're getting them at home. Okay, are they a weaker team? Mm-hmm, so are you. So, Sam Darnold has gotten better offensive line attention this offseason than he's gotten in previous offseasons, so you're not necessarily going to be able to just blitz him all game like teams were able to do last year. Their defense is kind of weak for the Jets, and there are rumors that they're trying to trade Jamal Adams away, which is idiotic. But either way, they've got some weaknesses on that defense for sure. Their run defense is not good at all, and you've got a great offensive line and a great running game. They have good defensive secondary players, the aforementioned Jamal Adams being one of them. So there's too many in and out factors on both sides for me to call this game either way. I think it's a very, very even matchup, regardless of whose stadium you're playing in. All right, so at the Bears is a loss. I think that Bears defense still has enough Fangio holdovers to make this game very, very difficult for the lame duck throwing Phillip Rivers. And they're not going to get pushed around by this offensive line as easily. That defense was built extremely well. And just Khalil Mack is going to be a bull. You can't single block him. I don't care how good your offensive line is. So that makes it so the offensive line has a little more work to do to make holes across the rest of the front, and it neutralizes your strength. So since your biggest strength is now just an average play, you're going to lose this game because the rest of what's going on the team doesn't really match up well with what the Bears have to offer. So, and being a road game, yeah, it's not looking good. All right. At the Browns. Another loss. Their defense is better than the Bears is. Especially considering Myles Garrett will not be worrying about a suspension at the beginning of the year. Denzel Ward is only getting better. He was already one of the best corners in the league. So I would actually anticipate that Denzel Ward gets as many receptions as the third receiver for the Colts in this game. It's like that. All right, so Bengals. You're going to win that one. The Bengals earned the number 1 overall pick. They were easily the worst team in the league with a rookie head coach and a bad roster. Not much changed. You can't turn over the worst roster in the league in one offseason. It does not happen. So, whereas yours is still built halfway at least from the Andrew Luck serious playoff run era, yeah, I think you have more than enough in the tank to just trounce the Bengals. All right, so bye week in week 7, midseason bye, and not a hell of a lot to complain about. If you were a legitimate playoff team, I would say you want to push that towards the end of the season, but you're not. So, yeah. At the Lions. That's a loss. All right, so the Lions are built a bit better than you right now. Matt Stafford is still throwing dimes all over the place. He's older, yes. Is he an old, dead-armed quarterback like Rivers? No. He's a few years younger, and he showed no signs of those sorts of age issues last year. He was playing through a broken back. Come on. This guy is the Iron Man of Detroit. He really is. Stafford has deserved a much better team surrounding him than he's gotten. They improved the offensive roster depth greatly this offseason in Detroit. So I think he uses that strengthened offense and that shiny new toy in the running back they got him. And, I mean, his wide receivers were young but quite talented last year. Then another year under their belt. I just don't see you on the road keeping up with the Lions' offensive attack with Rivers' dead arm. I don't. All right, so you get the Ravens after that, which you're definitely going to lose because Lamar Jackson and company are one of the best teams in the league, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it either. At the Titans, more of a toss-up game. It's a division rival, so you know them a bit more. Even though I think they're an extremely tough team, I think this team is actually built pretty well to attack their biggest weakness, which is their run defense. So, best offensive line in the league, with a 1-2 punch at running back, where both of these guys are very dangerous. I see you putting enough out there to put this game into doubt for the Titans, even though I see the Titans being an extremely strong team this year. All right, so Packers, toss-up game. You're getting them at home. That's helpful. They haven't had an extremely effective offseason for helping their quarterback. You haven't had an extremely effective offseason with acquiring a quarterback. So, diametrically opposed situations, but even situations. So, bit of a push. All right, so Titans. You're getting them at home. Same situation as on the road. It's a toss-up game simply because your biggest strength is going up against their biggest weakness. Overall roster depth, overall direction of the team, overall everything else, I give advantage Titans. But their biggest weakness being your biggest strength makes this a very winnable game. All right, at the Texans, that's a loss. You're on the road to a team with Deshaun Watson. You will not be able to keep up with that Texans offense, assuming Watson's still healthy and Fuller's still healthy. Will Fuller is one of the best deep threats in the league, and you just don't have enough offense to keep up with what their offense can do to you. I don't see you winning a track meet, and that's exactly what the Texans are going to want to turn it into. Okay, at the Raiders. That's another loss. Similar reason. The Raiders are built primarily on team speed. They legitimately have a track team as their wide receiver core. All of these guys are 4-3 speed demons outside of, who's the possession guy? Hunter Renfrow. And he just gets open. It's marvelous watching the guy play. He's not the fastest, he's not the tallest, he's not the strongest. He always gets open, and he always catches the ball. He's Wes Welker, okay? He just... having that kind of possession receiver on a team that has dynamic speed demons at every other receiver position, not to mention the defense is building. I think the Raiders are going to have an extremely strong season. I think they're going to be able to contend for the division. They won't win it because the Chiefs are still there, but they're a legitimate playoff team, and they're going to be the top wild card spot for certain. I just don't think you're competing with them right now. All right, so Texans, another toss-up game. You're getting them at home. That makes it winnable. All right, you're going to be able to play more your style, dictate the pace a lot more because it's a home game. There's a reason Vegas gives you 3 points for every home game. Okay, teams just play differently at home, and that's going to be enough of a factor to make this game against a division rival a winnable game, whereas on the road, it's a guaranteed L. All right, so at the Steelers, this is a loss. At this point in the season, Ben Roethlisberger is going to be in full stride. If you were getting them at the beginning of the year, I would say he's got enough rust dealing with that injury recovery that you'd really be able to contend with them. But you're not. You're getting them towards the end of the season where Roethlisberger is going to be in full stride with that offense. And the Steelers have a legitimate top 5 defense. A real chance at being the best defense in the league. You're not going to contend with that. Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to get more receptions than Funches does. Okay? All right. Finishing the season with the Jaguars at home, and that's going to be a win because, well, the Jaguars, whereas you're bad, they're terrible. Nobody wants to play for a losing team when the culture is bad. Indy's culture is not bad. They have good veteran leadership. They have a fantastic coach. They just don't have the right quarterback. I have no faith in Rivers. I need to see him put something out there. If you're paying attention, the games that I think are an absolute lock, wins and losses. You're 2-8. Splitting the remaining games, that puts you at 5-11. That is a top 10 draft pick, folks. And hopefully, it's the one that gets you your quarterback of the future. Let me know what you think, though. All right? Hit me up in the comments. Give me a like. Share it. Whatever the heck you're going to do with it. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. hit up the rest of the videos because I've done one of these for every team in the league. The remainder are going to be released one a day as the off season continues. And hit me up on my other channel, the Nerd Esports Fan, if you were enjoying the video game content, because it's all moving to its separate channel now. And don't forget about me on Patreon come the regular season. So most of my content's fantasy football related, and if you need help setting your lineup, setting your draft order, or if you just want to do a watch along with your boy here, hit me up. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.